What up, my social media family? It is your favorite realtor, Josh Brown. And today, man, I'm bringing you guys another video. And today's video is going to be a tip, but this is going to be a very interesting tip because when I started in this industry, I started as a wholesaler, and I kind of want to get across what an actual wholesaler is because they do have a bad name behind them. They do have a bad rep behind them. But I want to give you guys an idea of what a wholesaler is, because a wholesaler can be anybody. Okay. Let's just start off with what is a wholesaler? A wholesaler is somebody who puts a transaction together and makes their money in the middle. So they're like a middleman in a sense, right? And you also have agents. Agents also do the same thing. They're middlemen. So to put it into perspective, an agent can be a wholesaler, a buyer can be a wholesaler, a contractor can be a wholesaler. Now, as everybody knows, there's good agents and there's bad agents. There's good wholesalers and there's bad wholesalers. And the thing that I'm starting to realize in this industry, I think most agents do not understand what a wholesaler actually is, and most wholesalers don't understand what an agent actually is, or what an agent does, or what a wholesaler does. At the end of the day, they are basically the same people. They're trying to put a transaction together, find the buyer for the transaction, and find the seller for the transaction. But the one thing about a wholesaler is a wholesaler has many different exit strategies, okay? For instance, let's say I'm buying a dilapidated property that needs a lot of work, okay? It needs structural issues, it needs pretty much it has to be broken down to the studs. What an agent is going to do for that property, an agent's going to put that property on the MLS and try to find the best buyer for that property. But that property might not necessarily be the best place for that property to go. Because when you're on the MLS, you have investors, you have big time investors, but you mostly have retail investors, retail buyers. And sometimes when you get into those really, really sticky situations of, when you have to mud jack a house up, or you have to, replace a foundation or put a beam in, sometimes those aren't the best places for a property to go on the MLS. So what a very, creative agent would do / wholesaler, which, I would say I'm an agent, but I also done wholesaling before. And what I would do in that situation is, before I even put it on the market, I'll send it out to my investors that are off market, that understands how to put those together and know how to bring the missing pieces together. Because at the end of the day, as an agent and as a wholesaler, we want to get the transaction done. We want to make sure we find the best people to buy the property, because you can put it on the market, you can put it on a retail market, and it'll go all the way down to the closing, and the buyer will back out because it's too complicated of a deal. Sometimes properties don't even get put on the market because most agents know that it won't get sold. It's just going to sit there, especially when it's overpriced. A lot of agents nowadays don't even understand how to get rid of a property that's overpriced and that needs, a lot of love. And some of these properties, they need a lot of love. But at the end of the day, a wholesaler, a realtor, a buyer, an investor, they are all the same people. All they're trying to do is put a transaction together to get it done. And what another thing a wholesaler can do is, a wholesaler has different avenues to how they can transact. For instance, right, being the creative agent that I am, I have a buyer right now that I'm working with that does subject to, which is seller financing, and the property was listed for a very long time, couldn't get sold. So what my creative thoughts were, okay, seeing how we can't get market value for this property, what is another creative way that we can get this property sold and still get the buyer into the new house that he's trying to buy? So what I did, I bought in one of my investors who buy properties creatively. He buy them seller finance. So we was able to get the seller inside of their new property, but also get the property sold for the price that they were looking to get it sold for. And at the end of the day, it's all about getting the transaction done. But sometimes you have to be way more creative, and you have to think outside the box to get these transactions done, because not everything is going to sell right away. Not everything is going to, be put up for sale and you're going to find the right buyer. Sometimes as an agent, what our purpose is to find the best buyer for that property, regardless of how we find it. And I want people to get this stigma out of their minds about wholesalers and agents. At the end of the day, wholesalers and agents really should be working together, because we have common goals. We have the same goals. And I know a lot of wholesalers that buy properties themselves. They'll buy the property and then they'll wholesale the property away once they buy it. they'll buy the property, partner up with somebody so that they can lower their costs on their end, and then they'll close on the transaction. So you have to, as agents, we also have to learn to differentiate. I can't even say that word. We have to learn the difference between a good wholesaler and somebody who doesn't understand what they're doing when they are wholesaling. Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to get the transaction closed. If I have equitable interest in the property and I want to buy the property, but I find a buyer, I find a contractor or somebody that wants to partner up with me on a deal, I can easily give them the rights to the contract, still have equitable interest, let them do the rehab, and then I'll get my money on the back end. See, you see how that works? It's not me giving the property away, it's me using OPM. And I don't know if people are familiar with that, but what is OPM? OPM is other people's money. And as an investor, that's what we do. We use other people's money to make money. And then we also help them capitalize on their money. So if you have $60,000 in the bank and I need $60,000 for this down payment and I'll give you the rights to this contract, I'll leverage your money to get the contract and I'll pay for the rehab. But there's a lot of agents out there who just don't understand, and there's a lot of wholesalers out there who don't understand how to get a transaction done. So I want to break that barrier, all right? I want to break that barrier between wholesalers and agents, because at the end of the day, you guys are the same thing. We're all doing we're all fighting for the common cause. One agent we have a license for, one people know how to transact with contracts, you know, and I do both. So agents out there, don't be afraid of wholesalers, and wholesalers don't be afraid of agents. You know, you also have to find the right agent, and you also have to find the right wholesaler, because just like wholesalers, not all agents are created equal. And just like agents, not all, just like agents, not all agents are created and not all wholesalers are created equally. So let's break that barrier. Let's stop trying to say, I don't want to work with wholesalers and I don't want to work with agents. Man, we're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to get a transaction done and help a buyer and a seller come together to meet their goals. And if in the process, you will know that this is not a wholesale deal as an agent. You should know that already. And if it's not a wholesale deal, don't work with a wholesaler. Just like a wholesaler, if you're out here and you know that there's no room in here for an agent to come in, don't work with an agent. But don't not work with each other because you don't understand it. How about you do your research on what a wholesaler does and how they be creative when it comes to getting transactions done? Because I started out as a wholesaler. I got my license because there was too many people out there that don't understand what a wholesaler does, and a wholesaler doesn't understand what an agent does. And when you can work together, it can be way more fruitful than I think most people think. As agents, we have a guideline that we have to stand by, we have to follow. And when you work with a wholesaler that also has morals and values, and they also have to stand by that, all we do is link together. And with my values that I have to have as an agent, it only makes that person that much better. Okay, so let's take our stipulations off of wholesalers. Let's not, you know what I mean, put bad mouths to their names. It's all the same thing at the end of the day, people. It's all the same thing. And once you become an agent that does a lot of transactions, you'll understand that there's going to be transactions that you have to get creative on. Not everything's going to sell. We're in a different market now. The market that we used to be in was everything will go. You don't need nobody else's help. You don't need anything. But now you're going to have to get more creative because things are starting to sit on the market longer, and a lot of homes are coming off the market. They're getting expired. When if you would have talked to a wholesaler or an investor, they would have gave you a cash offer on that deal. The seller might not have taken it, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, at least they would have had an option. A lot of agents will not even give their sellers an option and educate their sellers on, okay, Mr. Seller, I'm just going to let you know this is a wholesaler, so he's going to try to wholesale this deal to his investors. And if the seller wants to deal with that, cool. If not, move on. There's too many opportunities out here for people to put their mind stuck on one little thing. There is no difference. We're all trying, at the end of the day, we all have common goals, helping our buyers and sellers accomplish their goals, period. So I just wanted to come out here and give these, I don't mean to rant to you guys, but I just wanted to, give my 2 cents on what a wholesaler is and what an agent is, because at the end of the day, we all have the same common goal, helping our buyers and sellers accomplish their goals. So if you guys ever have any questions on what a wholesaler is, or want me to make another video on how, a wholesaler can benefit an agent and how an agent can benefit a wholesaler, just let your boy know. All right. So this is your favorite realtor, Josh Brown. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. comment below, hit that subscribe button, man. I need to get these subscribers up, and I will see you guys next week for my weekly tips. Over and out.